Hello and welcome to the Pirate Podcast number 3. I'm Brian Jennings and I'm here with the head band director, Dr. Bonsignore. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. All right, so today we're going to ask you a few questions. So first, what made you want to conduct and teach band?
Well, that's a kind of a convoluted story. When I was in middle school and high school, I played trumpet. I wasn't sure what direction I wanted to go with life, kind of what you guys are probably getting ready to go through as well as teenagers. And my high school band director told me that I would be a great band director, but like all teenagers, what I really wanted to do was make money. And so teaching was the farthest thing from my mind. So I went to Northwest Missouri State on a trumpet scholarship and was an accounting major for a year and a half and realized I spent all my time in the fine arts building. And after discussing it with my college band director, I changed directions. I went home and went to UMKC, changed my major to music. I stayed there for about a semester, realized that music was the direction I needed to go, and then transferred back to Northwest and finished my degree. So I think you go through life and you try to figure out what works for you and what doesn't. And sometimes you use your brain, and eventually you use your heart. And I just followed my heart, and it was the right thing to do.
Did you do instruments and music from a young age?
Yeah, I did. I went to the North Kansas City School District, and there we started band in 7th grade, so I sang until 7th grade, and then we had a choice to do band or choir, and I chose band. And I really wanted to play saxophone, but I sounded like a lawnmower playing saxophone. That was not in the agenda. So I tried out for percussion, and I was not coordinated enough to play percussion. So my band director tried me out on trumpet, and it was like the best instrument for me. So I played it all the way through middle school, high school, and college.
All right. So what's your favorite part of conducting band?
I love music just for the simple fact that you can have a bad day or you can have a good day, and music always makes it better, regardless. When I was in college, I would have, stress levels through the roof, like you guys are going to go through at some point. And music was always a release for me. And I know that, exercising or playing a sport, music is always involved. Well, even if you're a musician, music has that same kind of release for musicians. So it was always a great home base for me to go back to. And it's what I love to do. And it's definitely a great career.
Yeah, it's like music's one of those things that you don't really get tired of. Like you can go do it for your career, come home, listen to more music.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you get in your car, you turn on music. You go home, you listen to music. If you're studying, you listen to music. I mean, it's kind of permeates our life.
It does. All right. So how has the competition season gone so far this year?
Well, it's been interesting because I've been here for a while, so I'm showing my age. But when I first got here, we were a 3A school. We've grown to a 4A school, and now all sports and music along with other activities are in 5A. So we've gone through a growing process in our ensembles to now we are competing with bands like Blue Springs and Blue Springs South and those large established band programs that have been 5A programs for years. And so I told the kids, I said, I'm not telling you to temper your expectations, but it's not going to be a walk in the park like it's been, where we show up, we're Platte County, we take first place and everything, and we walk off the field. So we competed against some really large and established bands last weekend for our first competition at Blue Springs South, and we took home 3rd place, which is admirable and very good for our first time out. And we are much more prepared for this week's competition at Rockbridge in Columbia. So I'll hopefully have better news to share after this weekend.
Yeah, I think we started seeing that in other sports as well, like especially in like track. We saw that when we went up, the competition got a lot harder and a lot of people got down. But like you said, I think it's important to still shoot for the stars. I think we can still compete as a school.
Yeah, and I think, kids rise to the challenge. I mean, you look at track, you guys are great, and the program continues to grow and get stronger. And I think you just have to go to that level of competition and raise the expectations.
Yes, sir. All right. So what's the music choice for this year?
Our show is entitled Waving Red this year, and I've had an idea to do a Latin themed show for years. And so we sit down as a staff and we talk about what we want the show to do, what we want the theme to be, how we want to incorporate different ideas into the show. Because if you know anything about marching band's not old school marching band anymore, unless you are a college band or you do like what our traditions band does on half times, where we play pop music and, you know, a little movement. We feature our dance team and color guard, and then we march off the field. Competition marching band is completely different. It's more of a theatrical musical show on the field. So we sit down and we decide what music we want to incorporate, and I've wanted to do a Latin show for many years. So we chose a bullfighter theme and incorporated a lot of Latin-themed concert band music, along with our opener, which is Malagueña. And Malagueña is a pretty aggressive, exciting marching band piece that is also played in concert band settings. We moved from that to Seal's Kiss by a Rose, which is kind of a play on words with, you know, the crowd throws roses out to the matadors. We thought that would be a fun second piece for our ballad. We're featuring Maddie Lewis playing flute on the second movement. And on the first movement, we have a trumpet duet by Jocelyn Hupp and Maddie Hogsven. And then we're finishing the set with a piece called La Fiesta Mexicana. And it's a 3-movement work of traditional Mexican music that highlights the carnival setting. And so it's a really high energy, fun piece to close the entire program out.
Okay. So what's it like to teach the middle schoolers and watch them grow into high schoolers?
Well, if you know our school district's theme, it's building relationships. And the cool thing as a band director is that we get these kids in 6th grade and we are able to build those relationships. And like Ryan Johnson here, you know, even if they don't stay in the program, you still have those friendships and those relationships. And it's really rewarding as a band director to see them grow from a 6th grader through the middle school program and then continue into the high school. We tell our parents and our kids the same thing, and we really believe it from the bottom of our heart that our biggest goal is to watch them graduate. To have that 7-year relationship where it's not just about music, it's not just about band, it's about, you know, giving and taking from each other and having that lifelong journey. I just had the opportunity to play for a former student's wedding, played trumpet for the wedding, and it truly just is a all-encompassing circle of life where you have them as a student, you develop that relationship, and later on you're friends. And you know, the colleague thing is awesome as you get older too. So long story short, to have the middle school kids go through our program and become adults in the high school is awesome to see, and it's really rewarding.
Yeah, that's so cool. Just like as you get older, you have so many people that have potential relationships with, like you said, Ryan here. Ryan, what was your favorite instrument?
I was a baritone, so
Ooh.
I like the baritone.
All right. So, what instrument did you play in high school? Oh, you said trumpet.
Yeah, I did play trumpet. Like I said, I tried to do other instruments, didn't work out. But unfortunately, or fortunately, as a band director, you're required to learn every single instrument. So I had to go back and learn flute, clarinet, oboe, saxophone, then all the brass instruments, trombone, baritone, tuba, French horn, and then we took a whole class on percussion and strings as well. So ultimately, I had to go back and play saxophone anyway. We're not going to talk about that.
Not the saxophone.
Not in this segment.
So would you say trumpet was still your strongest upon revisiting all of them?
Oh, for sure, yeah. I mean, trumpet's God's instrument.
Yeah.
Like, look in the Bible, Gabriel's going to blow the trumpet. You know, like, it's the best instrument. But
Ooh.
in all seriousness,
It's a hot take.
yeah, it's a hot take. All the instruments are great. I love all of our band kids.
So, as the band director, this is a big question. Who's your favorite singer or band?
Well, okay, so I'm going to show my age a little bit. We already talked about that I don't look my age, but I grew up listening to classic rock because my brothers, I have 4 older brothers, and they all listen to classic rock. So even though I grew up in the 80s, I listened to a lot of 70s music. So one of my favorite bands is Journey and Steve Perry, and they're not the same without Steve Perry. I'm just going to go there. But I like a lot of classic rock. I like a lot of the 80s music. But I like Dua Lipa too. I think she's pretty awesome. So
Yeah, give us a little variety there.
a little variety, yeah.
So last question. The band at the football game is really important. It really attributes to like the atmosphere when the players come out. It's what I think of when I think of the entrance. How do you make sure the energy stays up even when the season may not be as successful as we'd like it to be?
Well, I mean, I think having the marching band there and having the school, the senior section and all the student section there and having the community there, I think it's an all-encompassing like community event. We're there to support our boys. We're there to have fun, and we're there to create excitement. And so the band program is a pretty multifaceted entity, but on Friday nights, we're there to pump the crowd up, get the boys fired up, and for the band kids to have fun too. So, sometimes you're going to have years where you're not as successful. We have them, sports have them, but the energy is still there, and the kids still care, and they still give 100%. And that's our job, is to do our job. Which is create that excitement and give a good performance. So I don't think it's hard for the band to get up for football games regardless of the record. And we've seen our football team be amazing. So that, each year is different, but our job is still the same, and that's to bring it every Friday night, every football game. Create that excitement and give a quality performance.
Well said. All right, that's everything. Thank you for letting us come in.
Hey, thanks for interviewing me.